This is the Power Element Podcast, episode 106. Everyone leads, and I'm Rusty, big time Rusty. Ain't been in here in a while. I even forgot how to work this microphone, babe. What's
Sounds
going on
good.
with it?
There you go.
Does it sound good?
Yeah, you got some good discipline there.
You've been holding down the fort,
Not much.
not putting out too much content, but here we are.
Not audio content.
Oh yeah,
Training videos. I mean, don't throw me under the bus that much.
my man Paul's
Stay
been
busy.
been putting it down on some training videos. We do got a bunch of new training videos coming out. We got TTR. What else we got coming out? We got
Maybe a little fair ad, maybe a little chase truck, maybe a little
there's a lot of good
underground.
stuff. Underground.
Maybe.
The TTR one's good information. The pull top rescue video. Wow, that came out really clean. Guys, check that on YouTube.
Yep.
None other than Coach Steve Leckvold putting it down. He's got all the little tricks in his bag, doesn't he?
Oh, he loves it, yeah.
Man, he loves that. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Coach, for your help with that. And shout out to our guys in the rodeo team, man. Just killing it this season. Getting ready for the international coming up.
Already October coming up. You talking about?
Forget about it.
Speaking of rodeo,
Yes,
there
sir.
is a rumor that you are approaching that age limit.
Yeah, I'm getting close. There has been a challenge out there, and I guess I did formally accept it.
So
But
can
yeah,
we
we'll
break the
see in
news?
a
Do we have a
couple
breaking
years.
news?
No breaking news just yet.
Uh,
How fun is that going to be able to compete with the guys in the senior division? I don't know, man. That's going to
Are
be
you
kinda
opting
cool.
for a climber spot or a groundman spot? What are you doing?
Any spot, bro. Any spot.
Judge.
anywhere I could judge. Anywhere I could help out the team, other than on the outside the fence line, is gonna be fun.
Speaking of helping the team,
Yeah.
that's your first time on as a newly promoted role. Can you talk about that?
I'll just I guess start with I'm honored with it. Obviously, doing the job. Been graced with the opportunity, to be regional vice president. Took on California, obviously Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming. Some 5 states. So yeah, it's been I'll say a lot, but having fun, meeting a lot of great people, meeting the customers, meeting the guys. It's definitely a humbling experience. Getting out in areas where you're not familiar with. Like where's north? Like you where am I at? So you got to try to get your bearings. Trying to build relationships along the way. Trying to improve some processes. And I tell you what, man, it's all about the people. And I was talking a little bit before the podcast about NFL preseason is here and training camp and Coach Kubiak with the Raiders. Was talking about culture, and I had a safety meeting, and it's true to point, man, like true to form. Like there's you can do all you want with the lessons and the training and the rules and tools and equipment and work processes, but at the end of the day, it's the people. They're gonna dictate the culture. It's the players in the huddle, if you will, to quote Coach Kubiak with the Raiders. So I'm not a Raiders fan, but I don't know, man. Coming out of Las Vegas, there might be something there with something special going on with the Raiders.
Well, you talk about NFL, the X's and O's. It's gonna be high level. The talent's high level. I mean, you're in the NFL. You're the top 1% of the 1%. So, like you said, when a coach speaks of leadership or culture, it kind of perks you up.
It did. It perked me up. I had to stop, and I was like, man, this guy's really kind of got it put together. So I'm interested to see what they do. They got the new Heisman Trophy winner, the new
Mendoza.
Yeah, Fernando got that guy going. So
they got Kirk Cousins backing up, good veteran over there too.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. We'll see. As you know, we got a yard in Vegas now. So shout out to my guys in Las Vegas.
Right down the street.
Man, it's been hot out there. Talking about work conditions. Got a great client out there too. So, dude, I'm excited. I guess I will end this just by saying, there was a lot of fine print that I wasn't aware of when I took the job. I'm seeing that now. So,
real quick, we'll probably touch and tap into your promotion throughout our episodes. But if there was one skill or discipline you've leaned into as your promotion, leading 5 states, what's that been?
I've been trying to listen more.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been taking Dave Burke's example of trying not to talk too much. As you know, I like to talk. I like to own the presence of the room, if you will. Been trying to understand and listen, because I think that's where you're going to get the most value. Second to point is teamwork. Trying to build a good team and also building relationships along the way. So that's kind of going to default old school, man. Right now, it's like that first day I took the superintendent job at Hinkles McCoy. It was not too long ago, probably 14, 15 years ago, and it was was an eye-opening experience. The same kind of thing. Just kind of fall in, build some relationships. I mean, I've not done it the right way the entire time, but I've learned a lot along the way. So
heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, man, you're doing a lot of things, listening, and then you'll probably be here on the Million Mile Club of the Flying Club soon.
It's a quick, yeah, dude. It's a quick shoot, a race to the top for that frequent flyer mileage, bro. I was like, wow, I'm already a medallion Delta. That was fast. Well, that flight from Ontario to Salt Lake isn't bad. You know,
2 hours.
It's a 2 hour flight. You
got it down quick, huh?
In and out, travel quick. But yeah, I mean, those frequent flyer mileage just rack it up quick.
How's the rental cars in Utah?
So I got a little black belt move. So I have a vehicle there. So
Malik, that's national. No.
So our office in Salt Lake is within probably 10 minutes of the airport. So shout out to my boy Malik. He's there helping me out, picks me up at the airport at 9 a.m. I had to have a truck waiting for me at the yard. So
you're not getting stuck with the Chevy Blazer?
No, the red Blazer.
The red was a lipstick.
Jeez, this is terrible. And then obviously the Vegas yard, that's a quick drive.
Yeah.
It's 2.5, 3 hour drive for me. So that's an easy turnaround trip. Yeah.
2.5?
Well, it's probably more like 3.
Yeah.
It's more like 3. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I got you.
I'll stop at my mom's in the high desert there, 2.5 for my mom's. Yeah. Anyways, I'm excited to do this with you, man. It's been a while, and we haven't done an Everyone Leads podcast. As you know, we're trying to grow that culture of Everyone Leads. You don't need a title. Just got to have some ambition, some rigor around it, and, speak up when there's something that needs to be said. So
are you going doubling down on this since you've taken over this position? I mean, I keep saying we're not going to go into your position, but
yeah,
we're going back to it. Are you
get off the position already?
Are you sticking with this theme? I mean, we got to blast it everywhere, so you kind of have to. But are you sticking with this? Everyone Leads.
I think we're going to keep this going for a while. To be honest with you, I think it just makes, when I heard it, and you and I were talking about it one day, and I think this segment is, I think it's one to stay. I think it's gonna be a staple. I think the Everyone Leads podcast, got to give the people what they want. And I can tell you, I've got a lot of text messages. Shout out to those that have texted me, called me, said, man, you got to get back in there and do another Everyone Leads podcast. So here we are.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it.
I'm going to call out the one person who's been hounding me, Eddie Finnegan.
Eddie Finnegan,
regional safety manager. Yeah.
So shout out to our regional safety manager, Eddie.
Yeah. You keep complaining, Eddie, you're going to be back in here again. So simmer down, Marine. Here we go.
Let's go.
I got a quote or a book quote. You good with that?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Catch you off guard here.
Yeah.
Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. Good book. Negotiating, FBI negotiator. Good stuff. All right, Raul. He says, I've always thought of myself as just a regular guy. Hardworking, willing to learn. Yes, but not particularly talented. And I've always felt that life holds amazing possibilities. In my much younger days, I just didn't know how to unlock those possibilities. Raul, have you felt like as you've been aging here and gained some experience, leadership experience, are you unlocking more possibilities and more disciplines, more black belt moves?
I think so, and I think it's because I've either learned from it. You know what I mean? I've made the mistake to realize, man, last time I did this, it didn't work out so well. I'm finding myself the ability kind of better to detach from situations, but I have to put an effort into it. Like my default mode is to jump right in or to say something. So now, like I said, I'm learning to listen. That's straight up. Like I'm trying to listen more because I don't know. Like especially going into areas, different customer, different work practices, different things that people are doing. Like I just don't know, right? Because although it's still line work. There's still cultures are different, right? So for me, yeah, dude, I've learned, I think, certain techniques or tactics that I've either read or heard about, and I've tried them and they work. Just simple things like detaching from situations, and I've talked about it before. Having some sort of a way to actually remind myself, hey, don't say anything right now. Just take a pause, and then think about what you're going to say. You have time. Or maybe ask another question to follow up with that. So I think, I've learned a ton of it, and shout out to my daughter Maddie too, 16. Like she's getting old, dude. Like the way I used to deal with that with her 5 years ago, 10 years ago is a lot different than now. So now I'm trying to take a different approach, and it's ultimately, I think the intent too is like people really understand your intent. You know what I mean? Like,
what does Jocko say? Intent has a smell.
Intent has a smell, right? So, like, my intent always, for me, and this may not work for everybody, dude, but it does for me. Like, if I always in my heart have the right intent, I think it will come out better. The minute I try to, either add my own goal or my own priority or my own, something selfish, the intent's going to come out way wrong, even though it may not perceive that. So for me, it's go into it with the right intent. If I've learned, listen a little more, detach from the situation, always continue to build relationships. Those key things, as much as I try to, it's really hard to unlock. I've learned to harness those skills a little better here recently. And I think maybe it's because of my age. I don't know, dude. Maybe that's what it is.
Well,
I don't know.
Like you
What
said,
about you?
Yeah, I don't know if that applies. I mean, we'll keep it in the context of what I'm doing. Obviously, yeah, learning different ways, different processing information for us to have success with the podcast or building relationships definitely has become easier. Leaning into mentors more has been great.
Yeah.
Too, just because they've made either the mistake or they've seen that same experience and provide some feedback. And I think that's good. And like I said, intently listen to that feedback. So yeah,
I think the pace of play too. Like if you think of like when we play golf, we play better when our pace of play is slower, right? Like if we're rushing our match because the dude behind us arms are crossed on the tee box and we're rushing through our putts, we're rushing through it, and you just kind of take the pace of play out. Think about how work is right now too. The pace of play is slowed way down, right? Like it's super slow, like not as busy as we would have been in the past. Now I'll say that in my world it's a little different because I'm traveling a lot more, and I've taken on a lot more responsibility, so the pressure pace of play is still there. But I think just right now, we're I think as a trade kind of slowed down a little bit. It makes us kind of just reevaluate, if you will.
Yeah. Reprioritize.
Yeah, reprioritize, exactly. So
that's funny you mentioned that. Danny Henches. We do equipment. He came in, said hi, and we had a conversation about golf, and it was tied into how I feel like I do better at golf. I'll tie it in here. Don't worry, it's not a golf podcast. How I feel better.
Definitely not going to be us.
Tell you how not to golf. How to be a successful high handicapper.
Yeah.
I digress. We talked about tournament golf, and you got Danny, who's a big stick right off the tee box, 300, 310.
300, yeah.
And which automatically puts you in the element like I want to hit like Danny or be like that. But then you go, and that's not my strength. My strength is a smoother, slower swing that just plays 240, 250, hopefully carries out nice and it's the middle of the fairway. And I think you said, like Kenny mentioned, your pace of play is your strength. And yes, it's nice to see other strengths of people, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to play your game and learn. I think get some reps.
Yeah, get some reps in for sure.
All right, cool.
Cool.
You ready to get into this?
Everyone leads. Let's go. Where are we going with it?
Yeah, for sure. Ask Copilot. And if you're new to the show, this segment is Ask Copilot. What we do is we type in a question, allow Copilot to give it an answer, and Raul and I discuss. So I typed in, we're exploring the difference between extreme ownership and extreme stewardship, why both are necessary for high-performing crews. Obviously, Raul and I are students of extreme ownership. The book's behind you. But I'll be honest, I never really heard being a steward until you kind of get into that union position. You never really hear of that representation, but it's a kind of powerful word that's not really used outside of, I think, the union terms. I don't know if you've had an experience.
No, yeah. You hear the steward of the environment.
Yeah.
Stewards. To me, it's that long-term play, right? It's that long-term.
Yeah, mic for you.
How about that? Better?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, man.
I can hear myself through your mic.
Really? And I'll switch. We're a little rusty.
No, we're a little rusty. Sorry. But no, it's that. I mean, I definitely don't think one's better than the other. I think you need both. But I don't think you can have stewardship until you have ownership. I think they play together. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. But we don't lean on that. I mean, we seek answers. We look for opportunities to grow the trade, but we don't even leverage that term, stewardship, or we don't even lean on it. I don't think I ever heard, and this is not a shot against you, I don't think you ever heard, be a better steward of the yard or the community or your crew. You never really lean on it, right?
No, it's actually, you make a good point there, dude. Like we don't really bring it up unless you're a union steward.
Yeah.
But it's a super powerful word. And
even then, what's the mental cue for you? It's the guy leading. is it a liaison between the hall and the yard representation.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Interesting.
All right, cool. Actually, we answered question 1. What's the difference between ownership and stewardship? Raul, you got any discussion points on that?
No, I think like I said before, like they work together. You know, I think you can't. I don't think one's more important than the other either. I think they're both very important. And I didn't even realize it until you kind of brought that up right now. It's like we don't even really mention it, but I think we got to get there to where we do talk about it more. Because being a steward, you know, a steward of the environment, you're not just executing, you're leaving it long term better than you found it. You know what I mean? So if we're in the trade now and we're leaders, we're executing, we're foremen, I think our long-term plays, we got to figure out how to be stewards of line work at some point. Basically leaving it better than we found it and also letting it grow and improve, right? Because we can't just keep doing the same things that we've always done. We got to get better in our space. And there's some fundamental, like I've said it before, like there's some things that we just leave alone. That's the way it's always going to be, and that's Pole Top Rescue even improved, So I think there's the things where you have to understand, like being a steward, and it's a super big responsibility. It's almost to where it's terrifying, right? Like I just want to be me. I just want to do my job. I don't want to do anything else. But at the end of the day, you are creating that culture because there's a whole nother group of dudes coming behind you, So I don't know, man. It's tough.
That's a good point because right when you, or for me, when you get ready to top out, what's the one thing you start thinking about is I just can't wait to just be accountable for me and not put up with some bull crap and just kind of do my thing and be alignment and kind of spread my wings. But then, like you said, you don't realize that stewardship responsibility. I don't know if you thought about this to this point is you mentioned ownership is responsibility of the day, the crew, the task, but then you talk about stewardship, especially in the scope of work that we're at now, or just the kind of season where we're looking into work capacity, not work in hand, but I'm talking about the growth of the grid. We're asking to be responsible for or be stewards for something we're not even really certain about. Like this is we're building a whole new grid that's going to be something that maybe none of us have experience in. Get my point or no?
Yeah, it's terrifying. Here, we want you to, like what I just said, we want you to, be the next guys to take this trade moving forward. But what does that moving forward even look like? What are we talking about? I don't know. I think I think the fundamentals will always be there. I think, are the systems going to be more complex? Sure. Is the equipment going to get more state of the art? Sure. Are our customers going to demand more of us? Sure. But I think you'll always have the fundamentals of line work. Like you'll never get out of the fundamentals. You know what I mean? Ownership, relationships. And I'm talking the soft skills. I'm not talking about the fundamentals of just, rules and tools. I'm talking about the fundamental skills. I think there's things that we have to learn that I'm learning along the way too. Is just sometimes you don't know. Like you got to be humble, and it's going to be okay to say that you don't know at times. And I think that's probably closer than we think. These next contracts, these next big contracts coming out, like what are we really going to be doing? To your point, like what's that circuit we're really going to be working on look like?
So you're saying, fundamentals of line work, fundamentals of extreme ownership, fundamentals of extreme stewardship. So leaving it better than you found it is going to propel us regardless of what that horizon looks like.
Yeah, and that's a lot. That's a big time pressure that a lot of people don't want to hear. Be straight with you. Like nobody wants their responsibilities because that is a big responsibility. But here's the cool thing about it is everybody's done it our entire time. As long as the trade's been going, there's always been that class of people that have taken it and carried it and taken it and carried it. And it just takes sophistication. It takes some skill, right? Skill, knowledge. It takes some discipline. It takes people that want to learn. I think we're setting ourselves up great, to be honest with you. And I say as an industry, not just company.
Co-pilot mentions down here at the bottom, question 1, stewardship ensures tomorrow's success.
We got to create more leaders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you really care about your steward, if you're a steward of your
craft,
thank you. Like you're taking care of yourself, but you're also looking for that next person you're going to train. Hence the apprenticeship program. It's been around a lot longer than us. Yeah.
I think that rolls right into question 2. Can someone be great at ownership but weak in stewardship?
What did What did Copa have to say about that?
Good stuff. Discussion points would be gets the job done. That's pretty good. I think it's someone asking for that. Hits production goals and solves problems quickly.
Yeah, because it's easy, like in the field, and I've seen it done. You've seen it done. I'll just do it myself.
Yeah,
I've done it too,
and that's not bad.
That's not bad. That's the guy that's going to get it done. He's going to be more productive.
Yep.
Which is, I think there's got to be a balance to that though. It's like, okay, I'm going to get this done myself. We have a foreman, and if he listens to this, he'll know who I'm talking about. And I tell him all the time. And he's out of our Vegas yard. And I said, dude, you cannot do this yourself every time. Like, you, at some point, I appreciate his way. He's going to train. He's going to get up there and do it. But at some point, like, you have to teach these younger linemen to do that work, And sometimes it's a confidence thing too. Like, as you're building a new job, or you're building a new foreman, or you're building a new crew, like, there's some vulnerabilities in that space, especially for contractors, because now you're getting guys you don't know. You're putting them in situations that might be difficult for anybody, not just a new guy. So now the complexity of him being new, not knowing the foreman not knowing the lineman, he just says, I'll just do it myself. But when that I'll just do it myself attitude continues, then you're creating a culture where you're going to be doing it yourself, and there's not going to be anybody there. You're going to look behind you. There's no next man up, and that's going to be the problem, I think. So I think we have to learn as a culture, like, that between ownership and stewardship. Ownership is you're going to have ownership of the project. You're going to get it done effectively. You're going to be productive. But the stewardship part of it is you're also looking at bringing that next guy with you along, and that's like that super black belt move. That next position, that's not easy, because you're just still trying to learn yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it.
We just say someone who's practicing intentionally extreme ownership. We'll just say a foreman. We'll go with a direct example. Is going to be a top tier foreman just by their leadership skills. Mm-hmm. And then the next level would be to take on extreme stewardship, teaching others how to apply extreme ownership and stewardship to be a pillar in the industry. I mean, because that's you're kind of elite of the elite if you're a good
operating those type of levels.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, you're next level. Like, those are, and we're talking best case scenarios in this room right here, right?
Sure.
Like, but when you add just natural people's ability to learn, like, sometimes people learn different. Then you got ego, then you got human error, then you got the complexity of whatever's going on. Like, that's a lot we're talking about here. Not only I'm going to go do it myself, but now I'm going to take all that's difficult enough, and then now I'm going to take a second to show or train this individual or multiple individuals so that they can eventually do it just exactly the way I like it done. Dude, we say that sounds easy, but dude, that's not easy. That's basically taking a pause and pulling back out of the emotion, and I think moving the trade forward.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's decentralized command. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Is being able to prioritize, because sometimes, let's just face it, like, sometimes the foreman doesn't have the opportunity, or even a general foreman, or even a lead lineman doesn't have the opportunity. I'm going to train right now. But to prioritize that and to say, you know what, we have some time. This is a good opportunity for me and you to go do something together, and I'm going to show you how I get it done. And I've seen it, and it's not like it doesn't happen, because it does, and I've seen it a lot, especially with our crews. Is these guys take the opportunity to do that, which is, proven to them that it can be done. You can be stewards and productive at the same time.
Ooh. Just end the podcast there.
Drop that, Mike.
Question 3. If ownership says it's my fault, what does stewardship say? Possible answer from Copilot. The future of this crew is partly my responsibility. I think if you go the future of the growth of this crew is partly my responsibility. The future.
Yes, the future. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know if I agree or disagree with that, but I think it's kind of confusing.
Yep.
But when I leave, the point that I hear that when I leave, is my crew better than when I got there?
What are you grading it on?
What's that?
What does better look like? What's the grade?
Is the culture better? Is the culture better? Is whatever that might be? Is the relationships better? Is the fundamental work practices better? So I think, right, wrong, like in there, what that question is, I think we have to understand, like, the stewardship It's like, it's almost like you're testing yourself. When I leave like when I leave California to go to Utah or Nevada for the week or whatever, does it stop here or does it just continue? That's my test, right?
Yeah.
And I can tell you, whether we're in our local yard in San Jac or we're here in Chino, it does not stop. Like my test is very simple. It continues on as if I were still here. To me, that's growing your business. That's growing. Like if leaders, and I think Lee even mentioned it, like if you can't pull your significant leaders out for a day, shout out to Lee. And we got Hold the Line coming up, by the way. Check it out in December. Check it out in San Diego. No, we got, if you pull your leaders out if you can't pull your leaders out for one day for training and then there's something wrong. We have what did he call it? A serious gap in our leadership game.
Yep.
I'll quote Lee. Like, you got a serious gap in your leadership game if you can't pull leaders out. So imagine if I leave for a week to go do something for a different client or different customer or different yard. And if it were to stop here, I would have some serious fundamental leadership gaps in my game. That's not what happens here. And because we have good people and I think we've grown that culture. You didn't stop what you were doing. Right? You continue doing exactly what you were supposed to do. The videos or contents were coming in. The crew vids were being done. So for me, I think we have to, I guess, back to that question, the future of this crew is partly my responsibility. I think it is, but there's more to it. I think that's a temporary responsibility, and there's so much more coming behind it. What are your thoughts?
Like I said, putting the future growth of the crew I would take out partly. I would say is my responsibility, the extreme owner piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
Dropping down the bullet points, Copilot mentions training is part of that, mentoring, culture building, which you prioritized, equipment care. That's a good one to pass along too. I think typically in a yard, the culture is to abuse the spare equipment, and that's something that if it's set right, good work habit, it could be those bottles that fly under the seat or those seeds that are spit on the floor. Those are changed with culture, equipment care. Mm-hmm. Anyways, knowledge transfer, like you said, taking the time to be a steward. I think it's huge. Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. Question 4.
Mm-hmm.
Which mindset is more important for long-term success? Says, while you think they're all, ownership creates accountability. Stewardship creates sustainability. Organizations need both. One builds results, one builds legacy. Ooh, that's a tough word.
Dang, that was just to end it right there.
Hey, man.
I think Copilot killed it on that one.
I mean, you're talking, I would think for you, just day by day is good, but then you got to talk about building a legacy. Like I think that's why you got to respect those generational companies, names like Sturgeon.
Oh, yeah. They've been here a long time, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you can prioritize one or the other. Like I said before. I think it starts with ownership. You own it. It leads into stewardship at some point, right? Because you're owning everything. You have this sense of ownership at all levels, not just the problems, but the solutions, right? Like you're owning everything in your own world, which is awesome. But then you're also preparing somebody to do it just like you next, or better than you, would be even better, right? So for me, I think it's before you can invest in others, you have to take the ownership first, right? Because you can't just be pushing it on everybody else, because then you're just delegating. I think you have to own it. You have to lead by example.
That's huge.
You know what I mean? And then turn that ownership along with stewardship. Forget about it. Like that, you're building legacies, man.
Yeah, that's good. That's tough. That's next level.
Yeah, that's next level. Mm-hmm.
I think as a craftsman, you're not really focused on that from the get. I mean, I think now we're approaching that with apprenticeship training. But I think, and even your expectation is getting into line school, maybe getting into trading. You can speak on this a lot too, because your ties. But you just want to be a good craftsman and build a quality product. And at the back of your mind is you're not even thinking about ownership or stewardship.
But do you think? But you're right. You're building yourself credibility. That's I guess that's what you're doing. Like what you just said right now. You just want to be a craftsman.
Yeah.
Which you're building. Yeah. You're building things. You're getting that credibility from the industry.
Yeah.
Or you're influencing, right? You're without even knowing it, you're already influencing because you have done the work. You have prepared yourself. you got the fundamental tools, and let's say you got some cool tricks in the bag, you got some swag about you, like you're already in that space to where when you say something, or you're gonna pay that forward and start understanding that word stewardship, which I think, man, is awesome to start using it. You have the credibility now. It's gonna be that much easier.
When do you think you
know
realize?
what I'm
When
saying?
do you think you realize that? Maybe when you start to feel like you're maybe a more talented as far as work methods wise than people on your crew, or maybe you feel like there's a big gap.
I think it just takes time. It takes experience. I mean, dude, we were passing out pins, and I was just floored with how many 10-year, 15-year, 20-year pin, 25-year pins. I'm gonna get my 30-year pin, dude. Think about that. Like, I remember my dad retired when he got his 30-year pin. I got another 20 years and I'm still learning, right? So, obviously, shout out to my pops. Like, sorry I didn't learn that lesson, how to get out at 30. But, like, it's pretty phenomenal to see those influencers in the yard, right? Like, or anywhere you go. Even my travels. You can deal with the guys at our rodeos. You can see the guys that have those experience. Like, they've earned it. They're credible. They've been around. They've done things. And I'll tell you what, man, just to have that, just a little bit of that talent, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, like, that would be super, super huge. Because it's going to be easier to pass that or build that legacy, not even for your like own self-worth, but for like the industry.
Yeah.
Right. Leaving it better than where we found it. So
I think leaning back to the crews, the foremen and the lead linemen, those ones that are operating at a high level, they do extreme ownership and extreme stewardship naturally. I think it just comes with being a good leader. But imagine if you actually label it and you're able to kind of like manage it and kind of see it develop like that. I think that's next level. Just labeling it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Question 5, Raul. How does stewardship show up on a line crew? Talks about teaching while working. That's pretty common. Especially you got a first step, very inexperienced, teaching them how to stay safe. Explaining the why. Maintaining tools and equipment. Investing in apprentices. That's a part of the job. Passing on lessons learned from incidences and near misses. That's a daily thing there. Leaving a job site better than it was found. Ooh, for multiple reasons you got to do that.
That's awesome. I like that.
Raul, what you got? How does stewardship show up on a line crew?
I think, I'm passionate about training. I think, like, I've kind of already mentioned it a little bit, but I'll mention it again just to make the point is, I think if somebody could slow the job down in a way that those that are coming up can understand it more, the reasons why, pulling on the thread why we do things, I think you're going to influence that next group of culture coming up and leaving it better than you found it. Not just, we're just out here, setting poles and running wire and hanging arms. Like, we're doing more than just that. So I think if we can do that and also respect a guy that may have something to say, like, obviously having a conversation about something might be great. Checking in on one another too, from a mental space, making sure everybody's cut in for the day. Because those were soft things we really didn't grow. We didn't really do, So I think if we could do that, also to show like efficient way of doing things. You're always gonna have fun, right? We can do it faster than that crew. Like, I think that we'll never get that out of our trade, right? There's always that competition, right? Yeah. Which is good, but I think you always have to slow it down in a way that the apprentice is being trained, maybe a new journeyman, or maybe giving the foreman an opportunity to actually give a tailboard for his first time. You know what I mean? Like, let's see him get through this. So for me, it's slowing it down. I think Co-Pilot was spot on when it said slowing the job down for training.
Yeah, good point. We're seeing more complex tailboards, a lot more openings, maybe a lot more driving at the line, a lot more apparatus. So, even if an experienced foreman could be experiencing new things, just because of the complexity might be...
Well, more hot work, too.
More hot work. There you go.
I'm seeing, you and I experienced it, too, right? Like, a lot more hot work, a lot more hot sticking. But bringing back that artwork, if you will. It's not just de-energize, open it, ground it, test it. Let's go get a bunch of work done. Now we have to keep the circuit on, right? We got to keep it energized, and so I think that's a whole different, conversation during the job briefing, on how we're going to set up our max, how we're going to set up our rigging, how much, what kind of communication we're going to have, cover, right? The covers change. So work distances change. So equipment. So for me, it's slowing down the conversation and what's relatable to the work, and I think that's, you're doing the trade a lot of justice and moving it forward if you take the time to ask the questions and have the conversation prior to doing the work. And even, not to mention another point, but even, Lee, I was thinking those task-oriented tailboards. You don't have to have one big tailboard and then just try to remember all that, especially if you're doing a 9-10 hour, task, like a pole replacement in the backyard. Why not break that up into little tasks? Okay, now we're going to do this. Now we're going to do this. Okay, stop. Let's get together. Made a lot more sense, and I think guys that are doing that are doing the trade justice.
Informal tailboards that are not being documented, but just conversation pieces, but intentional, right?
Just but intentional, yeah. Yep, exactly.
Good stuff. Question 6 at roll. I think it we've kind of talked about it, but we can go through it again. Can stewardship exist without ownership? Quick discussion points. Stewardship starts with ownership. I think that's reversed, but I think they can kind of counterplay. But I think it is right now with you and I kind of embracing stewardship as part of a perspective might change that. You can't pass down excellence if you don't practice it. I think the tendency when a mad customer comes out of their house because you turn the power off and you want to match their energy, I think until you see someone handle it professionally and not match their energy, it's a good example. But until you don't see that, I think you automatically default to just matching that customer's energy, and that's tough.
So when we talk about this, I think stewardship starts with setting the standard ourselves.
Yep.
So we can't be, and how do you set the standard? It's not what you preach, it's what you tolerate.
Yeah.
But that's also goes back to you and yourself as an individual. So we can't be saying X and doing Y. You know what I mean? Like we have to maintain that standard, because I think that's how you're going to grow your stewardship. If you're saying one thing, doing another, that's not going to work. That's absolutely not going to work. You know that. I know it. So for me, it's setting that standard a little higher than normal, because we are going to deviate a little bit as tradesmen, as craftsmen, and I think we've all identified that's going to happen. We have to build our jobs to where we can fail safely. And I think that's the true meaning of stewardship, is when you set that standard, but you have to do it yourself. You have to walk the walk, talk the talk.
It's a hard one to realize unless you're told it.
Yeah.
Set that standard higher. Grabbing the extra piece of cover, taking the extra second to ensure that Raul, my pole partner, understands my intentions with the cover plan.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Adding the right piece of cover. Communicating in the right way too. We talk about 3-way communication, but if I'm not doing that myself, not, confirming what somebody just sent to me that I received, not confirming back to them, well then, I don't know, for me, I don't think we're setting the right example.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Question 7, what does stewardship look like for someone without a leadership title? Stewardship is not a position, it's a mindset.
Ooh, they did good on that one.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, it's like, it's not really a title. It's what you're thinking, and it's how you act. Right. That's pretty cool. What else to say?
Discussion points: looking out for coworkers, sharing knowledge, helping newer employees, speaking up during tailboards, to your point, and protecting the culture. Protecting the culture is good. You talk about growing your yard or even your industry. But what does that culture look like to someone who maybe not used to that? What if their culture they're known is a little bit different? But allowing them to know that there's a higher expectation, a higher standard. To your point, that's a tough one. Protecting it.
Yeah, it's I think that's what we're trying to do with this podcast, this segment.
Sure,
everyone leads.
Yeah,
it's not, you don't have to have a title. It'd be a GF superintendent, apprentice lineman, journeyman lineman, groundman. Regional vice president, right? It's not about the title. It's about what you're thinking. It's how you act, and knowing that your actions, someone's either watching you, somebody's looking at you doing things, and you're creating culture without even saying anything. It's the way you're acting. So for me, it's everyone leads. Don't wait for others. Don't wait for orders, and lead. Boom. That's all I got.
Mic drop. Last question here, Raul. When you retire, speaking of retirement, what will matter more? What you accomplished or who you developed? That's not the question to you. I think it's the question you kind of ask yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Discussion points: legacy, impact, succession, lessons passed forward. I think you talked about building a grid that we don't know what we're getting into, but those fundamentals of line work, of communication, of ownership, and stewardship are what's going to be our legacy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's still there, but I remember a question on our very last question of our journeyman test, and it was,
man, you're good.
And it wasn't even a question. It was just they wanted to know which journeyman impacted you the most during your apprenticeship.
Ooh.
And I was like, wow, that's a pretty good question. Like, it makes you think, like, if every apprentice gets that question at the end of their test, right? Because, JTCs want to know who was the most influential lineman out there. Was he one of ours? Like, for me, it was a pretty good question. I don't even know if it's there anymore, but it made me think is like, I want to be that person that the apprentice writes down every single time. So every apprentice, like, for me, I took that responsibility to say, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to teach you something, because I think when that apprentice goes to a different crew, he's a reflection of you. He's of that last crew he was on, whether it be the foreman or the journeyman he was around. Where did you work? You know what I mean? Because, man, you're a stud. Or, man, they didn't teach you this, So for me, I think it's that mindset, that responsibility, and it's a big responsibility, right? Like, that's a huge responsibility. So for me, it's, investing in that person. I think it's making sure that you, that you leave your legacy behind. But I think a lot of it you have to understand, like, you're not going to do everything perfect. You're not going to be the best out there every time, which takes a lot of humility. That's why I like golf.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's a super humbling sport, right? Like, you can do great. I've seen dudes crush it 9 holes, and then next thing you know, the last 9 holes they can't get off the tee box for whatever. It's like going left, going right, barely go past the ladies' tees, because it's such a fundamentally sound sport. Anything in your head could go wrong, anything. So for me, it's like, and you're usually playing with friends, so it's super humbling when you mess up. So for me, it's like being able to check your ego during this process. When you retire, what matters most, what you accomplished or who you developed. For me, it's like, I think it's who you developed, Yeah, we can have all the titles. It's like, but what did I do to bring that next guy with me? So for me, that's, I can say honestly, like, I really do think about that. People I work around, I take pride in it. Not even in my position now, I try to influence in a positive way.
That's cool. I like that, that goal
Mm-hmm.
of being that lineman that apprentice writes on there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh?
It's kind of a smart way to think about it.
Yeah, and I don't even know, but that's pretty cool. Anyways.
Co-pilot wraps up Raul by saying, extreme ownership helps us win today. Extreme stewardship ensures the team keeps winning long after we're gone.
Awesome.
Good stuff. Segment 2.
How we doing on time? Good?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
we're trying to keep it to where it's not so long. So sorry, guys, if this is taking longer than.
Oh, we're good.
All right.
We'll get 10 more minutes. Here we go.
All right.
Set your timer. Segment 2, Raul, real quick. 3 tips to communicate better on a crew. Tip number 1, be clear, not clever. Raul, how many incidents start with assumptions? I'll speak for myself. An example, anytime I was on any incidents where I was an apprentice or a lineman, it all was very unclear. And there was assumptions made when that near miss happened. So it's pretty clear.
Got to go back to laws of combat. Simple, clear, concise. That's going to be the black belt move, the best of them all, dude. Like, if you can take a complex job or a complex task and simplify it to where everybody understands, dude, that's next level right there.
On investigations, is there a common thread or theme of I assumed or I thought? Is that a pretty common?
Most of the time, dude. Like, yeah, I mean, if you can, it's funny, like, you can always go back to communication. We didn't communicate. Outworkers were coming down, nobody communicated. We thought we were going on A phase, we went on B phase. There was a step in the procedure and we didn't communicate. Like, literally, that's why I think this, like, casual conversation you and I are having And if you can go out to the crews and ask the questions, simple, guys, what's going to happen today that could go wrong? Like, just try that. Just what could go wrong today? Who could get hurt today and doing what? Like, just a natural conversation versus, and don't get me wrong. Like, I'm into the fail safe. I'm into the energy wheel. I'm into the, hazard analysis. Like, dude, all day long, I think those tools will work. But just try a little bit of just natural conversation about, hey, dude, like, how about we don't jump off the truck? How about we, just have a natural conversation? I think we're gonna be more effective, keeping it simple. No different than if you don't understand anything at the tailboard or task oriented or task job briefings per the task. Like, just ask a question. I think that simple, clear, concise method is there for a reason. I think we're gonna be super more efficient, safe, effective by doing that.
I like how you word that, and I will say you are a ninja at that. You were good at that. Even not only the crews, but folks like myself. All right, number 2 role, confirm understanding. I think that goes back to three-way communication. The message sent is not always the message received. That's pretty clear, and I think that's
the readback.
Oh, good call.
The readback, dude. If people can't, if people don't understand, they cannot execute. If people can't execute, then we're not going to get anything done. We're going to be spinning our wheels. You want everybody to row in the same way. If somebody on that team is rowing the opposite way or going the opposite way, you're gonna cause friction. So for me, it's like, yeah, if the people don't understand, you can do that. It's our responsibility to make sure that we're giving the information in the manner that's understandable too. Dude, please call me out. And I'm telling you too, call me out if I'm telling you something that you don't understand. Like, call me out, please. Like, call me right out. But sometimes we also have to open the door to ask questions too. Right? That's tough.
Because then even
okay, go.
Yeah. I mean, even you,
yeah,
it's your position taking on more responsibility. There's still questions that I have that I need a direct answer with. And so I have to word it in a way that is going to get the answer that I need to move forward. And so, yeah, it's a style of three-way communication. We're not in the field, but I still need to answer.
Do you know how hard it is for two people to communicate anyways?
Yeah.
Now add a third person or a fourth person. Or heck, we got a 5-man crew now, or a 6-man crew. To establish clarity is the most hardest thing to do in any form. So why not? We have to have like a conversation to make sure that clarity's there. And if you can get to that clarity level, then we can execute. But if it's not clear, man, like it's going to be danger zone, bro.
Tip 3, Raul. Listen to understand, not respond. How does listening improve safety? How does listening build trust? Key point, the best communicators on a crew are often the best listeners. I think the best communicators are the best crews.
Absolutely.
You talk about the hot work crew, there's a lot of communicating going on.
I just told you, like, starting the podcast, dude, like, listening is the hardest thing to do sometimes. But there's a reason why we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Like, it's there for a reason. Like, we should be listening more and talking less. And I can tell you, I get called out all the time. Zip it. I'm okay with it. Like, because I do have I have this, especially if I got some pre-workout in me or some energy drink in me. But no, it sometimes just listening will solve so much. Let somebody else come up with the plan. Let somebody else talk, and maybe you come in just to confirm, or maybe you just come in to give the final little touches, tweaks to the plan. That, and if it's a subordinate or it's a peer, whether it's a customer, they're gonna appreciate that more. Sometimes you just gotta listen, and it's hard.
I like it. Raul, that's all I got.
That's all you got? Jeez. Okay.
Told you I'd get you out of here.
Well, I guess, guys, I hope you enjoyed this Everyone Leads podcast. Where are we at? 49 minutes and 52 seconds, it looks like. We try to keep this under the hour just to make it easy for everybody. Feels good to be back in studio. Paul, thank you for everything you do. Definitely got to thank our promotional partners. And, guys, thank you for this listen. Share this podcast. I'm going to go through some promotional partners that support us all the time, support the trade. High Voltage Industries, man, crushing the freaking Foreman shirts, bro, the button-ups. killing it. Cozy. They're comfortable. Check those button ups from High Voltage Industries. They even got some patterns out now that are super fly. You might see them at the rodeo. We're gonna hopefully highlight some good ones. Gotta say what up to Dr. Kevin Rendall and the Vimocity group. They are absolutely crushing it for us. Klein Tools, just kicking down the swag all the time. With the crew of the month, Milwaukee Tools, and none other than Wye Delta sunglasses. I'm gonna finish up with a culture of everyone leads isn't built in comfort. It's built in tough moments with positive influence. It's that one decision, that one conversation, that one moment you choose to hold the line. That's how an everyone leads culture is made. That's all we got. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for listening.